Dear friend, my name is Samuel Ayim of CTL Africa Leadership, and I would like to invite you to our free weekly webinar, The Leadership Platform. The Leadership Platform is your space for learning everything leadership and personal development. We have been holding the Leadership Platform for the last 3.5 years every week, and thousands of leaders from all walks of life have benefited from the rich lessons from experienced leaders. As the year goes on, we are going to bring you even more enriching content. We're going to have a session called Leaders Are Readers, where every month we will bring you a book that all participants will be encouraged to read. We will share the summary of those lessons for you to guide you. We will also bring you a session on meeting with a CEO, where we will bring an experienced CEO from any industry to share their story and their lessons as leaders. Again, we will bring you the extraordinary leadership stories, where we scout out for emerging entrepreneurs and leaders doing extraordinary things in different fields to inspire you to do better. And of course, we will bring you the normal topics in leadership and personal development that would enrich your leadership. So I hope you make a date with us, CTL Africa, every Saturday, 7 p.m. on the Leadership Platform, live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. On our YouTube, you can also check some of the previous lessons for free. Make a date with us, CTL Africa, on the Leadership Platform, this and every Saturday at 7 p.m. Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey. Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited to be with you. As you know, Saturdays around this time are my favorite times of the week. Why? Because I get the opportunity to gather around the table with all of you to learn about personal growth and leadership. And we've been doing this for almost 4 years now, every week. And there's so much we've learned along the line. As we promised you, this year, we're going to give you even more enriching lessons. And we're going to bring amazing, amazing leaders to share their stories. So, if you are joining us, please introduce yourself. We know there are many of you who connect and don't introduce yourself, but we have the pleasure, it is our joy to announce you to the world. So please introduce yourself, whether you're joining from Facebook or YouTube. Just tell us your name and where you are joining from, and we'll be happy to announce you to the world. So go ahead and do that. Second, also go ahead and share the link with your friends, with your colleagues, with your bosses, with your subordinates. This is going to be an amazing session. So go ahead and share so that others will know and learn leadership, because today we have an amazing personality we're going to discuss with. I see Awo Fiajo is already here, joining from Domi in Accra. Thank you, Awo, for joining us. Akwesi-Kankam, thank you so much for joining us from the UK. So go ahead and introduce yourself so we can announce you to the world that you are here. Now, at the beginning of January, we told you that every month we will be focusing on a book. And the book that we studied in January is What Brought You Here Will Not Take You There by Marshall Goldsmith. And I shared a summary of the book with you. I hope that some of you have been able to find the book and read it. And I also told you there was an online audio version which is free, which you can also tap in about 8 hours. So if you just dedicate an hour a day in a week, you'll be done. Amazing book. Please go and continue reading What Got You Here Will Not Take You There by Marshall Goldsmith. In February, the book that I'm reading, which I'm going to share with you, so you can also read with me, and at the end of the month, I will come and share the summary with you, is John C. Maxwell's book, Intentional Living. Intentional Living is a very interesting book, and I've started reading it. The question is, what do you want your life to represent? When you leave this world, what do you want to be remembered for? Have you decided what tributes you want to be read at your funeral? Now, Intentional Living is a book that helps you to create your own story. We will come back at the end of the month. So join me as we read Intentional Living in the month of February by John C. Maxwell. Please get the book and read with me. And as you read every week, you can come and share lessons on the platform. But at the end of the month, I will come and share the summary of the lessons for all of us. And I want you all to join me to share the lessons. You can share your perspective as we go along at the last Saturday of February. All right. So now I see also several people joining. William Darfur is here. Thank you, William, for joining us. I see Gerard Foucault is joining us also from Accra. Ebenezer Niama is here and is joining us from Heritage Christian University. William Darfur from Tema. I have Christopher Gavo is here, joining us from Koforidia. Thank you so much. Seram Bequin, thank you so much for joining from Abokobi in Accra. I have Prince Jima. Prince is joining us from Accra, Newtown. Doris Atta is here from Accra. I have Fred Asari joining from Gomuafete. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. We will come back and announce you to the world. But for now, business. Today, we have an amazing personality, my mentor for years, who is going to do us the honors. And because we're going to delve into his story, I'm not going to spend any time introducing him because we've shared a brief of his profile for you. But this is a person who is interested in developing people. And today, she's taking that passion to a level where he set up a university and he's the president of the university. And I'm talking about Dr. Samuel Twumasi-Ankrah, who is the president of Heritage Christian University. At this point, I'm going to invite Dr. Twumasi-Ankrah onto the stage, and we're going to go into his story. As we told you, this is a form of mentoring where he's going to share his story, and you have opportunity to ask him questions about his life, and he's willing and open to share with us. Sit at his feet. This is what we're trying to do. Sit at the feet of those who have made it so that we can all learn from them. Their successes, their failures will all be opened up here. And Dr. Twumasi happens to be our first in our series, A Time with a CEO. Dr. Twumasi-Ankrah, you are welcome to the leadership platform.
Thank you very, very much. I want to thank you and Sarah and the entire CTL team for giving me this unique platform to interact with you. I want to thank God for you all and for what CTL is doing in the lives of many, many people that you don't even know. So I just want to begin by saying thank you.
Right. Thank you so very much, Doc. We will shoot straight into it. You are currently the president of Heritage Christian University. Just tell us where this university is. We will come back to it, but so that we know where it is and so on. Can you tell us briefly where the Heritage Christian University is, and so that we can know that it exists somewhere in Israel?
Thank you. Well, Heritage Christian University College, as it is now, is situated at Amasaman. Those of you who live in Accra, so Amasaman, and there is a football field that is popularly referred to as stadium. So Heritage is situated behind the Amasaman Stadium near Accra.
Great. We'll come back to talk a bit more about Heritage as we go along, but we want to start from the beginning, if Doc, you don't mind. You've been on this earth for several decades. If you don't mind, you can share that with us. But tell us, where do you hail from? And can you tell us briefly about your childhood, your early days?
I sure will. But before I respond to that question, let me backpedal to say that I am so honored. If I never thought while I was growing up as a boy, teenager, I never thought that I would grow up to a point in my life where my life story can be discussed on such a platform in a manner that will be of benefit to some people. So I want to thank you. I come from a very, very small village. When I was young, you could not find it, you could not locate it on Ghana map. I don't know whether now Google has captured it, but it's a small village known as Pami. Pami is a village it's on the other side of the Atiwa Mountains near Chebi, between Enyinam and Achimekropon is on the other side of the mountain. That is my dad's village. That's where I was born. But my mom comes from Kukurentumi, and I grew up in Kukurentumi. But I was born, and up to probably 14 years, I spent my life there in the village of Pamin.
Wow. So tell us how life was in Pamin in those 14 years. What kind of parents did you have?
Yeah.
What kind of environment? What was the life like for a child of your age at that time?
So my dad happens to be the first person ever to go to school in Pamin. And his uncle was the village. And so I grew up in that family. And my dad, by the time he finished school, I think standard 6 also, as they call it, my grandfather, who the chief, told us that he sent my dad to school so that my dad would become a lawyer, so that my dad could inherit him and protect people who were stealing his land. But by the time my dad finished school, he had become a pastor in the Presbyterian Church. The school he attended in Chebi was established by missionaries from Scotland, Presbyterian missionaries from Scotland. And they trained everybody, the best of the students to become. So my dad was the first to go to school, first to come to Pamin to establish the first church ever. It was a Presbyterian church, against the will of my grandfather, his uncle, who was the chief. And so that is the work my dad did. And then he lost his first wife after 4 children, and then married my mom. My mom had 1. So my mom was a trader and also a homemaker. And so I grew up in among blended siblings, 4 from that side and 1 from, later on we became 3 from my mom's side. And unfortunately for my dad, he became invalid, and then the marriage ended in a divorce. I was 6 years old, and this divorce actually traumatized me and my younger brother. There was intense hostility that came between my mom and dad after the divorce, and I ended up living here and there. I can't go into the details of the divorce, but by the time I was 13 years old, I had to work on the cocoa farm just to make money to pay my fees. I remember at the age of 10 years, I had a chicken that to me was a pet, but I was sent home because I've not paid my school fees. And I took that chicken, to the market, and my class teacher bought it and told me he will use the money to pay for my fees. And you can imagine the pain and the hurt. So I was used to a rugged life from the very beginning. I was weeding with some friends who were my age mates, weeding cocoa farms, and who were taken advantage of. But I had to do that, to take care of myself. By the time I've finished elementary school, I had attended 4 different schools.
Wow.
Yes, 4 different schools in different villages, different towns. And it was all struggle. But when I finished elementary school, I ended up as a houseboy, in the house of a physician, medical doctor, who was a relative of my dad at New Tafo. He had a medical clinic known as, he's late, I don't want to mention his name, but his clinic, I think, is still around at New Tafo, those of you who know Eastern region, behind the market. Brim Chemist and Clinic. And I was his houseboy for some time until at the age of 16, my half sister who lived in Accra said he would not let me waste my life. So she brought me to Accra to go to commercial school at the age of 16.
Doc, we'll come to the age of 16, but now the story you're telling about your life up to that stage in the village and, working here and there, how did all that shape you? What's looking behind to those years alone? We'll come back to from the 16 years and you're going to your sister, but what did you pick? What lessons did that life leave you when you look at yourself today?
Now I look back and I thank God that I went through those experiences of learning how to set booby traps to catch rats and all kinds of animals, learning how to set nets in streams, in river to catch different kinds of fishes. It helped develop tenacity. It helped me to develop fortitude and fighting for your needs without developing the entitlement mentality, looking at father or mother to care for you. So in short, that is what I would say. The experience I gained from the bush, the experience I gained from the bush, weeding on the cocoa farms and setting booby traps and doing all manner of things to survive, survival skills. It developed character, survival skills in me, and it helped me to put my heart, anything I wanted to do, I go all out. Whether it's on walking barefooted, whether it's on, wearing tattered Brunuawu clothes without shoes, whether it's going on empty stomach. I developed all that in the first 14 years when I had to struggle in the bush.
Yeah. Wow. Some of us can relate to that. But sometimes when you go through this kind of life, how does that relate? How do you translate that to situations where we have children these days, especially those in very comfortable homes or privileged homes, and we're pampering? And yes, we are not saying everybody should go through those difficulties, but how does that compare with your experience? And what do you advise young people who are running away from hard work, from difficulties, and so on? What will you say?
Certainly, anybody at all, young or old, who would want to, the first impulse when hardship or difficulty come your way is you want to run away from it, you want to avoid it. And so it will be difficult, yes, by word of mouth to tell young people that face your problems and confront your difficulties. You can say it, but they may not appreciate it. I think that parents who are blessed, who are well-to-do, have a responsibility to, of course, you can't deny and you should not deny your children from certain things if you have them. But I think we should find ways to expose them, give them the exposure. If you are a parent and you are like me, you come from the village, learn to give your children the basic needs. Don't deny them. But find ways to take them to the village and create situations where they will avoid dependency, and they will learn not to always have that sense of entitlement. This is something that I believe, even including clothing, for example. I can't speak for myself, but parents can, once every year, bring your children together and say, hey, go into your closet, your suitcases, bring everything out, everything you have not worn, every clothes you have not worn for 1 year, bring them all out and help them to parcel it and go and give it out. That way you are inculcating some of these values in them. And so that's what I can say. Young children or young people should realize that you can never be successful in life until you have developed values such as hard work and fortitude, working hard by yourself to get whatever you need. And then parents should also encourage them to develop these type of values.
Great. Thank you so much for those lessons there. So you finished school, you are a houseboy tell us the experience of a houseboy.
Yeah, thank you. So houseboy means, well, at the time I became a houseboy, around 15, that was the end of my education, because I couldn't go to secondary school. No, there was nobody to help me go to secondary school. And so being a houseboy means that was the end of your life. But being a houseboy means, in my situation, I was the first to wake up. Before I turned 16, I would wake up 4 a.m. every morning. I mean, when I was introduced to that standard family member of my dad, Dr. Pukwajiman, the late, he told me, in this house, I want you to wake up at 4. So I woke up 4 a.m. every morning, and then I'll do house chores, including, he was not married, and so I would go to the kitchen and prepare his breakfast and hot water. He always dressed in iron clothes, so I will iron his clothing, and then I would, after setting up his breakfast, by 7 o'clock, 6:30 to 7, I have to go to the clinic, sweep the clinic. He taught me how to sterilize syringes and all the tools. So I'll put them all into the pot and prepare, and that was my daily routine. I will go there without breakfast. Then when he comes to the clinic, I will go home then and do dishes from his breakfast, and then I will eat. Then go back and join him, in the clinic. Come home in the afternoon to pass through Tafu Market, shop, come home and cook. He had 3 kids. One was at Pope John's Secondary School, my age. The other 2 were at Prempeh College, and I, to use the word, I jealous them. When they came home, I'll meet them. I'll carry their portmanteau. One of them had my mother called it a tight, and I will read their books. And so that is the life I went through until my sister, my half sister, older sister, heard that I was a houseboy and said no, he will not let me rot there. So she brought me here to Accra, and that was another story.
All right. So at that, how old were you when your sister brought
16.
you to Accra?
I had just turned 16. Yeah.
And when you say you finished school, what level? What school? What level of school did you finish?
I graduated. Let me use the word graduated. I graduated from SDA Middle School in Chumi. So I started school in LA Primary School, and then I went to Presbyterian Primary School. Then I went back to Roman Catholic school, and then I ended up at Chumi SDA and completed in 1974.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. A lot to chew there, but we'll go on. So you came to Accra. Was that your first time in Accra?
Of course. First time in Accra. I remember, I still have the picture of myself, not photograph, but in my mind, wearing shorts and chalwate. That was the first time I wore chalwate, because I'm coming to Accra, so I have to dress nicely, wear chalwate that I've purchased out of basket that I wove and sold on market. And then I got a Kimpri shorts. So I was wearing chalwate and shorts and wax print jumper. And I came with a certain man. He's also a relative. We boarded train from Tafu to Accra. And so that is how
so there was a train at that time from Tafu
yes,
to
there was a
Accra.
train from New Tafu to Accra. And then the man took me to an uncle. So in Accra at Alajo, I had to, from the railway station, we went to Alajo, where I had to live with the uncle.
Okay. But just to go back, when you were a houseboy, were you being paid?
No. Because, in the village, if you finish elementary school, you don't want to live there. So from
It's a
Pami,
privilege.
from Pami to New Tafo, it's like from Accra to New York for me. At least standards of living have gone up because I am a hard boy in a very, very beautiful home.
Big man's house.
Yeah, big man's house. Yeah. And the people were probably jealous of me. I don't know.
Wow. All right. So you came to Alajo and stayed with an uncle or with your sister?
No. Well, you see, my sister is in Accra, but she just sends me money and sends this man who brought me from, accompanied me. But she lived in one room. I was, I think, probably almost 17. So she and my uncle, this is an uncle on my mom's side, my mom's last born. So he had a chamber and a hall with his wife and one little child. And so I came to live with them, but the purpose was to stay there and go to commercial school because, and my sister was going to pay for me to go to commercial school, but the commercial school was in Newtown, Accra, Newtown, and my uncle lived in Alajo, which is close to Newtown, so I wouldn't have to struggle with transportation. I'll just walk. Okay. So that's how come I was brought to Accra, and I didn't even finish the commercial school.
Oh, what happened?
After the first year, I had an accident and I broke my ankle. And so I broke my ankle. I can't live in Accra because I can't go to school. So I had to go back to the village. And where am I going? I can't go to Pami because that was invalid. I can't go to back to Tafu to serve with the late Dr. Opoku Diman. So my mom welcomed me. I would say, well, my mom had remarried, but my mom welcomed me, and the only reason I went there was so that they could help me apply herbal medicine to cure or heal my bone fracture. I had a compound fracture. And so that's why I came back to Chumi. And I spent about 5 months. And when I could walk without crutches, I decided that let me go back to Accra on my own. And I'm not going to stay with anybody, no uncle, because the 1 year that I spent in Alajo, I've made 1 or 2 friends. Actually, I've made 3 friends. And so I came back to Accra, and one of them was living in an uncompleted building at Fadama, behind North Kaneshi. And I joined him. The uncompleted building belonged to his uncle. I can mention the name of this friend of mine. I think he's still alive. His name is Richard Danso. He recently retired as an accountant from ECG, and so he allowed me to stay with him, and I'm on my own. And so then I have to find something to do because now I could walk a little bit, even though not completely, but I could walk on my broken foot. Yes.
Wow. So what did you do? I mean,
when I came back, so I did, these guys who walk around in communities with a bag and with a plier. I don't know. I've forgotten the name. They fix shoes. They can.
Okay, shoemaker.
Well, you see, shoemaker is even more polished.
Shoe shine, like the shoe shine.
Well, shoe shine. I will mend. Charlie, what is that? Was turn, I will mend, and I had to learn it. Nobody taught me. Richard, my friend Richard, had mastered it, and so I'll go. Initially, we went together, and I will walk from North Kaneshi to Kasua. I'm telling you, walk whatever you go, and people call you home. And then we did that for a while, and I will save some money, and I started going to evening school, evening classes, at to write RSA and LCC. These are commercial subjects, exams. And so I'll do any job. Even here in Accra, I will work as a mason laborer, because sometimes you do this, and nobody will call you to their homes to mend their slippers. So we walk around, and I see somebody building, and I walk to them and I say, hey, I can carry your headband. And those are the things I was doing while I was going to evening school. And I wrote the RSA. I think I got first, I got 4 subjects. And then I wrote LCC, the advanced, and I got 3. So some of them were accounting and commerce and office practice and those type of things. Then I got converted to Church of Christ, and that turned the curve of my life again.
Wow. Now, how old were you at this point?
At this point, I was about 17, 18.
Okay.
So I've been back to Accra for more, and I've been doing this for over a year.
Okay.
So I was, I think, a little after 18 years.
All right. Now tell us how did you get converted? And because since that turned your life, it would be interesting to know what happened. So at this point, you were not going to church up to 18.
No. I was not going to church at all. And me and my friends would do some crazy things, of course. For the sake of those who are listening to me, one thing that I didn't get myself involved in was this girls thing. But we will work hard. Can you imagine carrying the concrete and pulling wheelbarrow? We work hard, get money, go and buy appetition at the age of 18 and drink appetition. And I'm saying this not with a sense of pride, and cook maybe concomte, face the wall and enjoy with drinking, And unfortunately, one of the 3 of us became drunkard and didn't make it. He didn't make it. But Richard Danso, by God's grace. So while I was with Danso, where we were staying, a gentleman who was then a member of the Church of Christ saw me, and he saw that I used to wrap the part of the ankle that suffered, had a fracture. He just walked to me one day and said, why do I walk like that? Do I have a problem? I said, yes. So he said, let me see. And he looked at it, and it was a little swollen. And he took some liking for me. He developed some liking for me, asked me all kinds of questions, and took me in his car because he thought that it would be good for me to go back to the hospital to do x-ray. So they will see whether the bone was properly set. And because of what he did for me, we went there, with his help. I don't know how much he paid. The x-ray was done. And he will bring me food when he heard of my story. The person I'm talking about, you know him. He's called Mr. Nixindua Kwakudua.
Ooh.
Yes. And because of that, I will always volunteer myself, go to his house and wash his car. And he will stop me, but I wash his car. And then I became almost like a family friend to he and his wife and little children, and they will cook and I will eat. I can go there because every evening I know when I go there, even when they will leave me food. And then he took me to, actually he signed me up with Web Bible School. It was not Web Bible School, Bible corresponding course, but different from Web Bible School. So I started reading it and I love it. Within 6 weeks, I've done all the 12 lessons and they gave me a certificate. And one of the lessons said I have to be baptized. And I didn't want to baptize because I'm a Presbyterian and I thought
you have been baptized already.
Baptized already. But I kept going to church until one day I could not resist the urge to give my life to Christ in baptism. And so, and from that point on, I was neck deep in the church and especially in evangelism. Even I remember 1 month, just 1 month after my baptism, I would join weekend. There was a weekend group that would always go to villages. The missionary Mosby will bring his vehicle early Saturday mornings by the church house, and then I'll jump in, and then. But not long after that, I got a member of the church, Brother Daniel Ahemfo. He used to be at Bojasi, got me a job in a factory and at African Concrete Products. They have a factory near New Times. And I went there and they hired me as a factory hand. My job was to clean grease on the floor and but after so then I started making regular income, and it helped me rent a room in North Kaneshi.
Okay.
And so now I have regular income. I'm working, but again, surprisingly, one day, the general manager, the accountant, Mr. Nyamiama, just walked to me and said he has heard that I attended Ahimfo, who was a member of the church, had told him that I have some certificates. So the chief accountant walks to me one day while I was pumping diesel from the machine, the pumping machine. He came to me and talked to me, and I said, yes, I have RSA and all these certificates. He said, bring it to me. So I sent it to him, and immediately he transferred me. He wrote a transfer letter. He transferred me from the factory to the accounts office.
Wow.
As an accounts clerk. And my salary was doubled. And
Wow.
so I started wearing shirt and tie.
All right. On that note, let's take just a quick short break. And we will come back in a minute if Kofi and I are ready. Just take a quick break. Doc, take some water now. And we will come back and continue the story. It's an amazing story from farming, walking in all the bushes, now back into Accra. By the grace of God, he's now in tie and nice shirts. We'll come to continue. Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.
Navigating through life without a coach or a guide can be very deceiving, making you come to think that you have achieved the highest or the best you can ever, or you have made the best of decisions. But until you become very intentional and take a good stock of your life, you would not realize that it's a mistake.
Pain helps you to come out of your comfort zone.
The law of intentionality and the fact that Learning is a lifelong journey if you want to be significant. Emphasis on significance.
Previously, I used to be very unintentional about the things I do when it comes to my family, my work, my Christian life, and basically everything that I do.
In the pursuit of that growth, there are gaps. There are gaps that we need to conquer. These gaps include the knowledge, perfection, mistake, inspirational, timing, and assumption gap.
And I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
I encourage you all out there who need to live their life to be part of CTL Africa's growth journey.
Please take advantage of this program and your life will never be the same.
Thank you very much, CTL Africa, and continue to impact the world. God bless.
Thank you so much for that. And by the way, cohort 8 of the growth journey is ongoing now. Cohort 9 is open. Please don't miss your chance. Register for the growth journey. Amazing program transforming people's life and so on. And for those of you who joined who were not there at the beginning, as we've announced, every month I'll be reading one book and I want to read it with you. This month, the book I'm reading is Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. Last month, we read together What Got You Here Will Not Take You There by Marshall Goldsmith, and we shared the lessons in January. At the end of the month, I'll come and share the lessons, but I want you to read with me, read along, so that we can share our takeaways together on last Saturday of the month. Now, I'm seeing so many comments, but the story is inspiring, so we'll continue the story. And Conrad Kakraba says, always inspiring to hear the life story of my president, full of lessons in resilience, grit, courage, and the amazing grace of God. Keep mentoring us. So that is it. And her ladyship, Cynthia Martinson, said, I'm so proud of you, Doc, my mentor. Right. So we'll continue the story, and this is a very beautiful story, but we don't have all the time to tell the story. So now Doc is now, wearing nice shirts and ties, and this is an accountant. Doc, then what happened?
Yeah, so I'm now an accounts clerk, wearing nice shirt and tie to go to work every day, and the chief accountant and the accountant all like me so much. I now have my own room. I bought my own first Vono mattress and so on and so forth. All right.
At what age now?
This will be 20.
Wow.
20 years. But just I started making money because my salary has been doubled from what I used to earn as a factory hand to now accounts clerk, and I started making savings. And then I decided that I would, of course, I was assisting my younger brother, who the late Jay, because he didn't have anybody to care for him. But I decided to write GCE because I learned that I could not go climb the academic ladder with the RSAs. So I tried as a private candidate, and I give credit to you. After 2 years working as an accounts clerk, I could not resist the urge in me to go to Bible school to become minister of the gospel full-time. Because right from 2 years previous to the time I became an accounts clerk at the African Concrete Product factory near Ghanaian Times. I had been baptized, and I was so much involved in evangelism, and the church was like a second home to me. And I loved that. I just loved that. And so I put in my resignation. In fact, when I sent it to the chief accountant, he called me to his office and advised against it. And I told me to go and think about it. I went and thought about it and came back and said, with all due respect, I want to go. So I resigned at the end of 84, December 84. And they did a big surprise for me, to the extent that they even invited the board chairman, the late Boachi. I have a picture where the managing director and all the managers were there. And that day, the day they were doing the send-off, they made all kinds of, shared all kinds of tributes and all kinds of positive things about me. And said, I remember one of them said, he thinks that I'm following my calling, because even at the factory, every Wednesday, I'll go to the canteen and bring people together and preach. And so it was already known. So that is how come I left the job to go to Bible school without any support. No church sent me to Bible school. And the savings I had made lasted me only 6 months. I didn't, yeah. And so some individuals, one or two individuals heard that I didn't have support. They stepped in to help me. Damave was one. My wife, who was then not my wife, but her brother Rafofori was a close friend of mine, and Raf would invite me home to go and eat. And then I became friends with his sister, who later became my wife. People were just
advantage.
Well, no. Her benevolence is what led to, yeah. But the Douglas, will help me, from time to time. And so even when I finished Bible school at the end of 2 years, I had started a church at Bema Camp. So from 84, end of 84, I and two military gentlemen who were members of the Nsam Road Church, they accompanied me. We went to Bema Camp and established a church there through public preaching, and I was going to school and then working with Bema Camp Church until from 84 to 86, April 86, when there was a coup, an attempted coup, and all churches were banned except a few. And so we had to move the church from from Bema Camp, and the closest place we can find a good school building to use was Newtown. That is where we moved the church there. But so now my life has transitioned from working in a factory to working in the ministry. By the time, so I've worked with this new church, Bema Camp, Newtown, for 1.5 years. And 6 months prior to my graduation, the leaders at Nsam Road sent that time they didn't have elders. So business committee sent 2 people to come and talk to me if I would consider working with the church there as the minister, because the late Brother Pedro Siama had relocated to Togo as a missionary in Togo. I didn't want to go because many of those who were in leadership at the time, saw me from the day one when I got baptized. But Damabe thought that Damabe was my teacher in the Bible school, and he called me home and said, "You are going to make a mistake. They know you, and they say they want you, so go." So that is how, again, God brought me, and we are preaching before a congregation where more than half of them saw you the day you were baptized. It was a challenge. But I'm saying this to connect a point. I finished Bible school. I'm now gospel minister for the Nsam Road Church. And this was in 87. So 2 years or so later, you had come to Nsam Road, I think after your sixth form from Tema. And not long after that, you started bringing the youth together, and you started organizing classes for GCE, people who wrote GCE. I hope you remember that. Do you?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I do.
I'm your preacher, but I took advantage of that. And I wrote, that's what helped me to write my GCE. And I think I got 5. And so I've finished the Bible school. I have GCE. I'm preaching for the church, and you know all the stuff that God enabled us to do. With you coming in, you were unofficial youth minister because you initiated that, and I just love that. You remember, and all kinds of work we did together with you, and then Fred also after his sixth form national service, came. We started a deaf ministry with just one deaf person, and so you came in more or less to help me start a new ministry. Fred later came in to help me start the deaf ministry, and so that was another phase of my life.
Wow. Now, because of time, we're going to transition quickly from ministry to academia.
Yeah. Okay.
How long were you a minister, and how did the gospel minister transition to be an academic, to set up a university, and so on?
Thank you. Way back to my primary school days, especially when I finished elementary school and I couldn't get any support or help to go to secondary school, I just coveted higher education, and it was in me. So from the RSA and later on writing the GCE as a private candidate, I was doing all this with the hope that I would continue. So after about 86, when I was hired at the Sun Road, and 92. By 92, I decided to take some courses in a seminary. So I did some courses in a seminary at Ghana Christian Seminary. Now it's called Ghana Christian University on Dodua Road. I did some course with them. Then I also did some certificate course at ISA, University of Ghana. And then I felt that I can do. Then again, Dan McVeigh with some Americans started a bachelor's degree. The reason why I couldn't finish the other seminary, was that my church leaders felt that is not Church of Christ seminary. So they advised me to stop. But Dan McVeigh and Van Tate and a few others started a degree, BA in Christian ministry. And so I signed up for that. And the qualifications I had, the RSA and the GC, and then the diploma from the Bible school, gave me admission to do the bachelor's degree. And after the bachelor's degree, I thought it was not enough. I applied to Abilene Christian University. They had an off-site campus in Kenya. So they accepted me to do their master's degree on condition, provisional. They gave me provisional admission because they said that my background was a little weak. So I did all that, and then felt that I couldn't. No, they told me I couldn't finish the master's degree in Kenya. So I had to go to US, and by God's grace, I went to US and finished the master's degree in 1 year. And so I took time off. I took some time off from the ministry. The elders allowed me to travel, and I went there. But before I finished the master's degree, the Lord placed it upon my heart to come back to Ghana to help establish Christian college, because of the exposure I've had to learning from Abilene Christian University, Harding University, Oklahoma Christian University, and all the Church of Christ affiliated schools. While I was there, I had the opportunity to visit many of them. And so I wrote a proposal to establish Bible school, Heritage Christian College. When I came back, the elders warmly embraced the idea, and the church decided to raise funds so we will buy the land where the Heritage is now situated. And so from the scratch, we have to buy the land and raise funds to put up
All
the
right.
campus. And this is where we are.
Doc, we'll talk a bit now in the last end with on heritage, but this is the man from farming under cocoa trees, catching rats and so on. Now you have a doctorate degree from the Biola University of California, and you have a master's from Accra. You have another master's from Abilene Christian University. You've published several papers. A long list here. I cannot. You've done research into different scholarly area, higher education, administration, leadership, team development, theology, and so on and so forth. Now, when you look on your life and up to this point, what do you consider to be the success factors up to this point before we go to talk about heritage briefly at the end? But meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, I see so many comments. People are inspired by the story. And I want you to also share your learnings. What are you learning from the story of Dr. Twumasi-Ankrah? If you have any questions, please feel free to type them. We're going to come into that. But let's pick up to this point. What are the success factors? What are the things that you think really brought you from all the way from farming to now America? If we had time, we'll talk about your first time in America and all that. But
excuse me. The first factor, which was a missing key until I discovered the key, is the Christ factor. I think the Christ factor became the compass that helped me to discover my mission in life, my purpose, God-endowed purpose, and my potentials. That used to be the missing key until, by God's grace, I found it. When I drive today, by God's grace, when I sit in my car and I drive by the street side and I see all the young men standing there, I see myself in them. When I drive and I see mason laborers, drinking cocoa in polythene, I see myself in them. When I see people walking, when I see young women carrying kayaye, I see my sisters in them, given where I'm coming from. When I look at a few friends I made, all my friends, except probably one or two, my classmates are all dead, and I'm alive. And I think what probably set me apart from the rest is the Christ factor, because my relationship with Christ, I'm not going to say going to church. It's one thing to go to church, and it's another thing to know Christ and give your all to Christ. Get yourself involved. You will never be perfect. You will fall always, every now and then. But His grace will lift you up as long as you have the passion to live to please the Lord. So let me say that was the turning point. My relationship with Christ helped me to discover who I am and why I'm here in this life and all my potentials. Then the second thing will be having discovered, by God's grace, having discovered my potentials. The second thing was education, because it is education that helped me to develop the discovery, what I discovered myself. And because I was not privileged to go to secondary school, there was this insatiable, burning, unbridled desire to learn.
Yeah.
And so I will learn. I buy books, I will learn. And I think And then again, in all this, God's grace came my way to lead me to individuals who would serve as source of motivation, inspiration, and provide me the resources. But once I discovered my purpose and potentials, I decided I'll go all out, whether I have money or not. So just quickly, I went to Abilene Christian University to do my master's degree with only $500. That's all. But it may surprise you what happened when I landed at the airport and I lost my suitcase, and the wife of one of the professors who knew me from Kenya met me, took me home. They had already, without me asking them, they have already leased one room for me and put in bed and some cooking pans and some rice, because and then so we have no excuses. We young people of today, you have no excuse whatsoever. No matter whether your parents were divorced or not, whether you come from a poor or a rich family, no matter whether you are physically challenged or, you have no excuse. You can. But the beginning is your relationship with Christ and how seriously you take the things we learn from church, we learn from the Bible, how seriously you take them. If you take God as his word, he will come through. If you take God as his word, you don't need money. I've not done much in terms of material things, but I'm proud and thankful to God for the little or whatever he's giving me. But whatever I've done in my life, I did it not because I had the wherewithal, but God helped me to do it out of unbridled passion to do it, whether I have the money or not, whether I have eaten or not, whether I have the strength or not, whether I have the academic background or not. So maybe as you ask the question, it will help me.
Yeah, we can see how passionate you are, and we can see once you discover your passion, how that can take you so far. And the God factor you've talked about. I mean, just like yesterday, I saw this video on WhatsApp where this guy earned $6.7 million in a transaction, and he's a millionaire. And they ask him, what is the success factor? He says the success factor is God. From beginning to the end. In life, without God, nothing works. And so thank you for that. Now, tell us briefly about Heritage. And you've set up, you didn't have opportunity to go to school, but you've learned on your own. God has helped you. Now you set up a university to help people. What is the uniqueness that Heritage brings into our academic career? Just briefly.
All right.
Yeah.
Heritage was set up as a church response to what I regard as a continental need. So there are so many universities and private universities, public universities, as you all know. And year after year, thousands and thousands of people graduate and they end up not getting jobs. So the Lord placed it upon our heart to come in to provide a missing link in tertiary education in Ghana. And what do I mean by the missing link? The missing link was to set up a Christian university that would provide, in addition to academics, academics or giving head knowledge, just like any other institution gives, to run a tertiary education that will emphasize on entrepreneurship. And so the distinctiveness, one of the distinctiveness of Heritage is when you come to this school, regardless of your major, we are accredited by Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. We are affiliated to Kwame University of Science and Technology and to UCC. We are now running graduate degrees and several undergraduate degrees. But what sets us apart is, regardless of your major, of your concentration, we encourage students to participate in a startup challenge. We have a center we call Center for Entrepreneurship, Philanthropy, and Ethics the center runs all kinds of hands-on entrepreneurial training for students, and they are put into groups. You write business plan, and once a year we run annual contests, startup contests. We bring people from the corporate world as judges, and you pitch. We line them up, and the judges will usually select the top, maybe 3 or 4 groups, and the Center for Entrepreneurship will give them grants to start their business. Of course, we don't put the money in their hand. We put the money in their account, and we have people who are part of the signatories and so on and so forth to ensure that. And every winning team from Heritage is sponsored to go to the US to participate in University of San Diego's program called Global Social Innovation Contests. And from 2018 to date, we have sent different groups. They participated, and we have always won. We are among the top 8, and they will come home with different amount of prizes. So this is our one of our uniqueness or distinctiveness, where you come to school at Heritage, whether you are a Bible major or you are studying nursing or whatever. If you can come up with feasible, good business plan, you get the support. And you'll be guided, not only in terms of money. Some of our faculty members will provide you technical advice to develop your business. As we speak, we have sponsored, since 2018, 26 student-led startups, ranging from catering to interior decor to all kinds of businesses. And last year, one of them even made a donation to Heritage, one of the students who graduated, who started his own business. So that is one. The use of laptop is compulsory. If you don't have a laptop and you come here, we sell you one at cost, and you pay us in bits throughout the period you are here. And it's because tertiary education is it's already gone virtual, and you have to be technology savvy to be able to compete globally. And so that is one of our distinctiveness. And then, of course, the God factor, the Christ factor. We emphasize on ethics. We have challenges. Not everybody will embrace it, but we never relent. We think that a time is coming in the next 30 years, everybody will have PhD, and employers will no longer concentrate on academic degrees in hiring. They will concentrate on character. 30 years from now, I'm not a prophet. And so if other institutions are offering head knowledge and giving good degrees, what sets us apart is, in addition to head knowledge, we will give people entrepreneurial training, entrepreneurial skills, and we'll give people Christ-like values. And that's what we'll be doing.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Doc. I hope I'm being heard. Thank you so much, Doc, for this amazing story that you share with us. I'm seeing so many comments from so many people on the call, and I cannot even read all of them. Let me just pick a few of the comments coming through. So many of them. I have okay. This is Amos Asante is here. Dorothy Akins is here. Patience is here. All right. Just a quick one. I'm looking for the comments. All right. One quick one. Good one there. Mr. Yim and Dr. Chumi, we've taken that. So confidence, say interesting stories. I can relate to some of them, fishing and farming. That's good. And Joy says survival tactics. And Conrad says inspiring story of my president. And Joy says amazing. Albert says great one there. And Nim says this is Regina, glad to join. Thank you for hosting Dr. Chumesi. All right. Then Doris Arthur says, all I will say is that God is good and merciful. Someone have to introduce someone to someone for help. But those who went through such life experiences never want others in need to even shake hands with them, or they willing to help. Why? I know what I'm saying. May God continue to bless us. All right. Okay. Charles Mauli says, good evening, Dr. Chumesi. Your teachings and sermons are always inspirational. All right. And Haja Halima says, and okay, this is inspiring, she says. All right. And Henry Odum says, it's a privilege and inspiring to hear the story of the board chairman. Frank says, it is not about where you start from, it is more about where you are willing to go. All right, good. Yeah, Utu says, thank you so much, my mentor. You and your host are still the source of my inspiration. All right, good. And more comments. But please, if you have any questions for Doc, and my question, Doc, what will you like to be remembered for? All right. So there's one question there. What would you like to be remembered for? And think about that as you answer that. Now, from my end, I want to just quickly, before we lose too much time, share with us, what are your leadership lessons? What is the style of leadership that you have used leading your church and leading the university? What has been your style, and what will be your key leadership lessons that you want to leave with us before you tell us what you want to be remembered for?
All right. Key leadership principle. Number one, I would say you model an effective leader should be the one who models the way for others. You model the way. You set example. You set goal. You identify a need of people, and you tell them, you motivate them that they can get it done. They can accomplish it. So you model the way. Another one will be closely related to modeling the way. I would say is a leader is the one who inspires shared vision, right? So if you're a leader, the reason why you are a leader is you are not there for yourself. You are leading people, and you should be able to inspire them. They have a vision. They all have an objective. They have a need, a goal, but they will need somebody who will be a catalyst, who will inspire them, regardless of their challenges and difficulties. They will need somebody to inspire them towards achieving the goal. So you model the way for them to see that is possible, is doable, without praising myself. I mean, if somebody who didn't get opportunity to go to secondary school, it is possible for such a person to climb the academic ladder, of course, amid difficulties and pain. Then everybody can do it. So you model the way and you inspire the vision, the shared vision. I will also say, a leader should be someone who challenges the process, the way people do things. Who said that? You always have to go to a university. I mean, it's good if you get opportunity, but if you don't get opportunity, there are certain things you can learn and do, and that is what I mean by you are challenging bureaucracy. You are challenging the way and manner by which people think you can advance in your life. So you model the way, you inspire vision, and you challenge the process, and you also enable others to act. You hand the baton. You have confidence in those who are working with you, and you enable them to act even if they make mistakes. And I will say that you also encourage the heart of the weak ones. Some of them will become easily discouraged, but these are some of the leadership principles that guide my life.
Thank you so much. A few more questions are coming, and I'm going to bring Sarah in right now whilst I pick the questions. And the one question here, we've taken that. I mean, you would tell us what we want to be remembered for. The other question here, we want to note that what wisdom will you want to share with emerging ministers of the gospel? And then, and Jacob, that was from Frank. The next question is from Jacob Asiedu. He says, how do you see the future of Ghanaian you? If it is not bright, then kindly advise in a short statement.
He said he means Ghanaian youth.
Ghanaian youth. Okay,
yes.
So the future of Ghanaian youth. All right. So, and so that's the third question. Maybe take those ones first before we have some time. We have 10 minutes. But
all right. So
there are more questions. So
what do I have to share with today's ministers of the gospel? Mm-hmm. Well, if you go into ministry,
especially with all those tele-evangelists and that is going on and so on.
Yeah. If you go into ministry because you can't find a job, then you've lost it. You miss the point. If you go into ministry because you think it's easy, or because you think you can make money, then you've lost it. Ministry to me is like entering the military. It has to be your calling. And when it's your calling, then you can endure hardship. And you look at those who enlist in the military. I don't think they go in. Maybe some do, but growing up and observing some old soldiers that I know, they don't go in. They just go in for what it is. They see it as a calling, and then you can endure hardship. And your motivation will not be because of material things. So I will encourage ministers and the young ones who are coming up, if you want to be successful, find a job, right? Find a job to do, to earn a living and do ministry. But if you can't find a job, or you don't want to find a job, or the ministry work you are involved in is so much that you can't combine that with some tent making, quote unquote, then it has to be your passion, because ministry will not make you rich. So it has to be your calling. But you know what? I tell you, God blesses. God will make a way where there's no way. Whatever you need, God will provide. He's done it for me. I never asked. I don't beg. It just happened. And if it doesn't happen, I'm not worried. And if God will do it for me, He will do it for you. But your motivation should not be because of fame or name or material things.
Good. So the other question, what we want to be remembered for, and what advice do you have for the Ghanaian youth?
I would like to be remembered for, what I like to be remembered for is what God can do with the ordinary. What God can do with the ordinary. So 2 years ago, I think 3 years ago, at our maiden graduation ceremony here on this university campus, your predecessor, Mr. Esime, walks into my office, saw me putting on the academic robe. He looks at me. He knows his hometown is not far away from Pami. And So he looks at me and he said something, and I wrote it down. He didn't know. To today, I've never told him. He said, "Hey, Yao, a village boy becomes a university doctor." And I wrote it down. But I would like to be remembered like that. What God, if you say a village boy who became a doctor, it's like it puts the power in yourself. But I would like to be remembered as a illustration of what God can do with the ordinary, the insignificant.
Great. Good. And your lessons for the youth?
Lesson for the youth. Accept any difficulty, hardship, or struggles that will come your way. If God allows it to come your way, whether it is your own making or is by happenstance, by circumstance, brace yourself up. If God allows it to come your way, it's a school. It's a learning curve for you. It's a school experience for you. It's meant to bring the best out of you. So number one, embrace any challenge that comes your way. And number two, seek solution. You seek solution through prayer, through seeking wisdom from experienced people. You seek solution through learning a trade or vocation or going to school. So accept challenges that come your way and look for solution and defy all odds. You won't die. I tell my kids, look, this will not kill you. If you have to go an empty stomach for a day, so what? And when they look at me with a strange face, because I don't think any of them, apart from periodic fasting, they have not. It will not kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing I would say is, Ghanaian youth, you have no excuse. You have no excuse. People will say, oh, if only my father had not died. Or if only my parents have not divorced. Or if only I was born into a rich family. Or if only, you have no excuse. If you hide behind excuse, you are hiding behind opportunity for God to bring the best out of you. There's an entitlement mentality that is playing. That is affecting the youth of today. People are looking to government to provide them job. There's no job. Government cannot provide job. Parents cannot provide job. So what are you going to do for yourself?
Yep.
There is something in you. You have to unearth it and develop it. And you can do something for yourself. It will amaze people who know you. So this will be my recommendation and suggestion or advice for the youth.
Okay, there are two more questions, but I want Sarah to ask a question. Sarah, do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah.
It's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's been great. And I just love the spirit of Doc, always learning, always being prepared so that when opportunity comes, he is prepared. So, Doc, my question is simple. So what is next for you?
Okay.
Thank you.
Before he goes to Doc, you answer that one last.
Okay.
What are some of the challenges? We've said a lot, but somebody said, what are some of the challenges in building up this distinctive university? So that's one question you want to note. And then Selassie says, growing up, Doc, do you think those you came across who were more privileged than you did not make use of the opportunities they had as you would have expected? Okay, so that is one more question. You can. All right, guys. We promise you to close at 8:30. So if you were not able to stay with us, we appreciate your time. We are hitting the top of the hour. There are a couple of questions, and I think Doc will be willing to stay a few more minutes to address them with us. But if for any reason you have to knock off, we understand. We appreciate your time. we are always happy to have you. So, Doc, yes, you have
Okay,
Sarah's question in your pocket.
Yes, I will keep Sarah's question, and as you said, attempt it at the very end.
Yeah.
But the second question you asked, it came from a sister.
Yes.
Selassie, if you can.
Yes, Selassie is asking, growing up, do you think that those you came across who were more privileged, do you think that they did not use the opportunities they had as you would have expected?
Okay, it's not fair on my part to generalize and say yes, but some of them I can say with confidence that was the case. Like during my houseboyhood days, those who had opportunity to go to Pope Joe's and Prempers, unfortunately, I don't know all the circumstances, but unfortunately, if you look at their lives today, and the fact that when we meet at funerals, some of them would say certain things to me, and want assistance. My answer will be yes, yes. But I can't generalize and say it is so with everybody. No.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some of the challenges you have in setting up the distinctive
university
heritage?
Well, so if you have to start a university from the scratch, as I said earlier on, everything that the Lord has led me to do, me and others to do, we did it not because we had God placed it upon our heart. And so how do you set up a university from the scratch when you don't have the money? We found a land, and the church I was working with said, you are the preacher, raise funds. I started raising funds, but it was going to take us a long time. Then somehow a gentleman and his wife who were members of my church called me aside and said, hey, we want to pay for it, but don't tell the church. So they, together with me, went and paid for the land, got all the documentation. And then finally, I couldn't keep it to myself. I have to tell the elders of the church. And then we have to raise funds. And so if you are passionate about it, you do everything ethical, legal, moral, and if God's hand is in it, you will get the wherewithal to be able to do it. So we started from nothing. Those of you know the campus started with only 2 small buildings, and now we have about 10 big buildings. We have we started with 35 students. After our 5th graduation ceremony, now we have students in the upwards of 500. We started with 7 degrees. Now we have 17 degrees, and about 6 will soon be accredited for us to run. So that shows you how the school has grown. But we did all this not because we have money. Even the church doesn't have money to support it, but God in his own way will bring people to our help. And the same principle can be applied to our individual lives. If you pray about it and God places it on your heart and you sacrifice your all. Some of those who started this school with me know that for the first 6 years, no salaries. But whatever resources that came, we use it to develop the school, And so if God has placed it on your heart and you are willing to pay the price, whatever it is, and you go all out, that's what I mean by you are defying the odds, and you pray, God will bring the help. And this is how far we have come, and we have gotten to this stage in the growth of the school. You know it. You are my council chair, and I think 1 or 2 other council members are on it, so you know what I'm talking about. That for me, there's no excuse to say you don't need money to build a house. If you are listening to me and you are a young person, you don't need money to build a house. And I wanted to build a house. I didn't have money, so I made susu with my wife. And my wife and some people were doing susu, and I will add to it. They didn't know, and so every time it's my wife's turn to collect the money, then we'll go and pay for the land. It took me about 2 years, 6 months to finish paying for the land. And then Mr. Yim and Fred Asari, Dr. Fred Asari, you all know how I built. I didn't have the money, but I will save a little bit. And sometimes all I can buy is 10 bags cement and maybe a few blocks. And I'll go with the masons. And from 7 o'clock in the morning, by 11, all the materials are done. And yet, that's how we built. The moment I roofed the building, the floor was, well, of course, we did the tile. The floor and the tile, before we did the ceiling and other things, I moved in. Little by little by little by little. And some of you have been to my house, and so you know. So it's a long answer to a short question.
Thank you so much. We've learned so much, and Conrad has been so kind to summarize some of the lessons. We would go to them, but answer Sarah's question before she fires me.
What next?
Yes.
Well, in 4 years, my council, the council of this university, knows that in 4 years I'll retire. And if by God's grace I live up to that point and I retire as a president of this university, I'll go back. If I'm strong and healthy and strong, I will go back to my first love in a different way. My first love being minister of the gospel, but I will not be a minister for a local congregation if my council chair and his members, board council members, will let me. I will want to be given an office, and I want to be a pastor, campus pastor to the kids. If they pay me, fine. If they don't pay me, that's what I want to do. The only thing that will send me away is if they don't give me that opportunity. But if they do, that is what I want to do till I drop dead.
Well, we know that if they don't give you the opportunity, if it is the will of God, you will do it. So thank you so much, Doc, for this amazing story. Please share your lessons. And Conrad has shared a few lessons. He says, my lessons from the life of Dr. Twumasi-Ankrah. Number 1, the God factor. Take Christ seriously. Number 2, face whatever challenges life presents you with resilience. Number 3, work hard. Number 4, take advantage of opportunities around you. Number 5, educate yourself no matter what. Number 6, God can do great things with ordinary people. Number 7, you can rise from grace to grace, rag to riches, and trash to treasure if you trust God. Number 8, brace yourself up for anything. And number 9, seek solutions through prayer, wisdom, and experience. And number 10, defy anything. All right. So those are the lesson summary of Conrad. Thank you for those beautiful summaries. And I know there are so many comments and so many people of you have been here, but we have actually breached the time. And so at this point, we just want to give the stage to Doc. We want to thank you, Doc, for this sharing, being open and sharing this, because sometimes when people see you as Dr. President of the university, they don't know the backstory to that, and they think that everything was rosy and you're enjoying. They see you in your car, big office, and that's all they see. And that is what this platform is we want to do with a series on a time with the CEO, just to go to the backstory so we can all appreciate you even more. So on that note, I want to thank you so much and want to give you the stage to just give us your closing remarks.
Well, I've said it all, and I will not want to take too much time other than to thank you, Mr. Yim. God has used you to influence me and to bless me materially, and I'm forever grateful for meeting you in life. Fred Asari, I can say the same, and others. I don't have time to mention all the names. Thank you for this platform. As I said from the beginning, when I was young, I never thought that my life would count for anything. And I never thought that today will come for me to get such an opportunity to share my life, so that it may be of some encouragement to my hearers. I want to thank you sincerely for that. It means a lot to me. And Miss Sarah, I want to thank you for what you are doing with Mr. Yim through CTL. May God bless you all. Let's continue to hold on to Christ, even when we fall and falter, and He will lift us up, and greater things are yet to be done. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc, and thank everybody for your time. And we apologize. We've done 10 more minutes than our usual time, but this is a beautiful story. And if you want to go into all the backstories, I'm sure we will need much, much more time. But we thank Doc for giving us the privilege to peep a bit into his life and to understand what was going on behind the scenes, what brought him here. And guys, on that note, I want to thank all of you. Once again, get your copy of the book, Intentional Living. This is what we are reading for February. So if you can read with me, that would be great. At the end of the month, we'll come and share the summary of the lessons. God bless you. Tomorrow being Sunday, as I always say, find opportunity, find a Christian community, and worship God. Give Him the honor. God bless you. Have a good night. See you next week for another amazing lesson on the leadership platform. Good night.
Good night.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gacy.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. On the very first day, I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Yim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness, then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Yim, we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I have been blessed, and so you be blessed. Thank you.